Okay, Pat. I'm here with Patrick Rodgers, and he served in the military, and he's here to tell you about his experience. So, and Pat was in the Army, and when did you join the service, Pat?
I was drafted. I was the draftee. I was ready to re-enlist, or I mean to enlist. But I met my wife while I was home on leave, and that changed because our unit was going to Vietnam.
Right.
So that changed it. I had a buddy that, two of my buddies that, one, he was a driver for the lieutenant, and they ended up hitting a landmine and were both killed. And that was a hard thing to take, knowing both of them, because I worked for the captain, and the other fellow was my buddy. He was from Michigan, Detroit, and he had been home with me on my leave before I was supposedly re-enlisting. My girlfriend at the time that I just met and spent 2.5 weeks with meeting her and her family. Well, of course, I knew her family, being from a small town, but I didn't really know her. And we just fell in love, and I was ready to go back, and I wasn't sure whether I was actually going to go to Vietnam, but that young lady changed my mind, and I thought, well, if we don't get along, I can always go back to Vietnam.
Okay. Well, how old were you when you first were going to, when you got drafted, but you would have enlisted too? How old were you?
I was 18 or 19. I think I was 18.
Well, what kind of inspired you to want to enlist, even though you were a draftee, but you said you would have enlisted?
Yeah, well, I had no problem with serving my country. I just, you feel it's your obligation, or at least we did at that time. I had no problems with going to. In fact, I was working in New York City, and that's where I went and saw the draft recruiter, so that I started my journey. And of course, I went home, and like I say, I met my wife, and pretty soon I guess that was later, but I was headed to Fort, where was it? I went to...
You told me before, and I can't remember.
Yeah, it was, well, I ended up at, out in Oklahoma.
Okay. Now, is that where you did your basic out there, your basic training?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of experience was that? Was that fun?
Yeah, the basic was, because I was still young and
so you were fit.
Yeah, I was energetic, and I still had some athletic ability. But that was the experience. I mean, I had the hikes up the hills of, where was I now? I was on the East Coast before I went to Oklahoma for AIT. Yeah, and then I was trying, well, when we finished there, we were sent different ways, different countries. Some of the buddies went overseas.
Like, but you never got to go overseas?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
Were you looking forward to it?
I was. like I say, my wife.
She changed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was home on. We had 4 weeks to really decide, and that really wasn't any positive, because if I was to be sent overseas to Vietnam, why, there was nothing I could do about it. Unless
Right.
I'd go AWOL, and I would never do that.
That wouldn't be a good thing.
All right, right.
Right.
So,
Well, I know now. What job did you have in the military? You were in supply, or
I was the first sergeant's clerk.
okay, okay.
I handled the important messages to the first sergeant.
I see. I see. So you carried the messages back and forth.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And you were in the military 2 years.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And you talked about coming home when you came home on leave, and you were going to re-enlist, right?
Yes.
And something changed that.
Well,
Yeah.
that was my dear wife to be.
She pulled rank on you, huh?
Yeah, she sure did. Right up to the end.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
I just missed, the Vietnam trip.
Yeah.
I did look forward to it.
Okay.
We had good personnel, and our artillery unit,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
felt complacent.
Yeah. I mean, what was a difficult day for you? Was a difficult day when you heard that your buddy and your sergeant and everything had passed away by hitting a landmine, or?
Well, we didn't know at the time.
Okay.
Because we were kind of in the early stages of personnel going to.
Okay.
And it was just one of those we don't know, but we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was our attitude.
Mhm.
But we were artillery, so we were not on the front lines.
Okay.
But
You were shooting over everybody.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we tried to keep all those that were up front
Safe.
safe.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you have any other difficult days you remember while you were in the military?
Well, the choice that I had at the end, because I was kind of looking forward to going overseas, and it was the early stages. We really didn't know how far North Vietnam was penetrating the South, and where we were placed, we felt somewhat safe.
Okay.
Of course, you never were
Okay.
really safe in a foreign country.
Okay. Well, I asked you about some bad times, but do you have a good memory of being in the service?
I do. Yeah, I can't remember any. I got yelled at. I got stuck in the what is that? Can't remember now, but
You didn't get stuck doing KP or something, did you?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah?
The rank the rank or the place or who you worked for didn't matter. If it was your turn, you did it. Shut your mouth.
Weren't allowed to talk back, huh?
Well, yeah, of course you mumbled that, but
Okay.
I didn't want to press it too bad.
Okay. Well, would you encourage young people today to join the service?
Yes, I would tell you that, if you were a young man and you might want some adventure, there's adventure and there's protection. And what more can you ask than to have the government of the United States of America behind you. So,
Do you feel it's made you a better person?
I think it made me a more disciplined person.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Because I spent many days on KP because of my
Because your lack of discipline?
No, I had a pretty good record, really.
Okay.
But we all had our disagreements.
Okay. Can you think of maybe a lesson you learned in the military that you'll never forget?
I think probably one of the best things I learned was taking orders.
Okay.
You know, we think we can do or say or whatever we want, and you know, in the military, you are their person until you get out. I mean, they're responsible for you. So, if you look at it that way, that they're responsible, you know, you feel pretty protected.
Okay.
And especially if you're going to a foreign country, you never know. So you pay attention, you listen.
Okay. You learn to listen. That might be the good thing that people could understand today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What do you think civilians can learn from veterans?
Well, if the veterans are honest and you know they're not too boisterous, why I think you know, of course we had the option of 2 years or joining, you know, signing up for regular tour, and I thought being in New Jersey and I had to go back to Pennsylvania to really enlist.
Okay, yeah.
And I thought, well, geez, I should have stayed in New Jersey. But then again, after we left, and I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky for my initial phase, and other than the hikes up, I forget what the name was, but it was up probably a 3-4 mile hike up the hill.
At that time, you knew it well because you didn't want to do it, right?
You're right. Yeah, but we did it probably 3 or 4 times during. At least every summer, anyway. At least they picked the summer.
Yeah.
And we had the smaller hikes on. But we were an artillery unit, so.
So you were toting some artillery?
No. We were behind the tanks.
Okay.
And we were the support group for them, and so we were in trucks. Okay. But I did get a few rides in the tanks.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you like that?
I did like it. Yeah.
You're not claustrophobic, huh?
No.
Okay.
But, well, of course, I was young.
Okay.
Now I probably. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Well, that's great. Glad you got to enjoy that.
Yeah.
So, what kind of changes have you seen in the military over the years?
I think they're more lenient as far as instead of demanding that you know, because we had some sergeants that even on a night hike or a weekend hike or something that we were in the woods. I was on guard one night, and this one sergeant was a real pain. He thought he could do whatever he wanted to do. So he went and he had us, he had me lined up for court-martial. That's so he thought. And once I explained when I was on guard duty and what he did, and he almost got court-martialed. But it worked out for both of us.
So you're saying the sergeants back then were kind of in-your-face sergeants,
Yeah.
where they aren't so much today, huh?
No.
Okay.
I think that, they're, and like I said, this was one sergeant that
Yeah.
he just, I don't know whether he just got promoted before we went or what, but anyway, it worked out, and we're both friends after that.
Okay. Well, if you could go back to 1966, and if you could do it all over again, would you do it all over again?
Oh yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
No regrets?
Except for the matrimonial affection that I caught after I got back.
You're saying you wouldn't come back, you'd just go over?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it was after I got back that I met her, and like I say, it was a big change.
Okay.
So.
Well, I know in talking to your daughter, I think she'd be pretty disappointed if you would have gone back over, because she might not be here.
You're right. No, she wouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe not the other two.
Well, I don't know, but...
yeah. Yeah, well, that was my, like I say, I was just home on leave and trying to discern what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't, after I made that decision.
So when you were home on leave, is that when you popped the question?
Yeah.
It was.
Well, yeah, I was home before that because like I say, I was getting discharged.
Uh-huh.
Or discharged or going to Vietnam.
Okay.
So
you took the discharge?
Yes.
And you joined another branch?
No.
No, I was kidding. I meant you joined with your wife.
Yes. Well, I went back and proposed.
Ah. So you went and told them that you weren't going to re-enlist, and you went back and proposed.
Right.
And the rest is history.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yes, it is.
Okay, Pat. Well, thank you so much for the interview.